Good evening to you all. Let us start today's current affairs, today's important news for prelims, mains, and today there are more number of things with respect to science and technology. So let us start today's news. Today, in a speech given by Manmohan Singh, the former Prime Minister and also Finance Minister, on the occasion of P.V. Narasimha Rao's centenary celebrations. He said, Narasimha Rao can truly be called father of economic reforms in India. P.V. Narasimha Rao can be truly called father of economic reforms in India. So we are celebrating 100th birth anniversary of P.V. Narasimha Rao. So whenever we celebrate any birth anniversaries, 100 years, definitely that personality is important for mains. For example, 3 years back, we got a question in UPSC on Mokshagundam Vishweshwaraya. In the same way, in the year 2007, 100th birth anniversary of Bhagat Singh, we got a mains question in UPSC mains in the year 2007. So whenever we have that such a personalities in news, definitely it is very important. Particularly with respect to P.V. Narasimha Rao, the 1991 LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, how he has taken such a dare step, how he thought very practically to tide out forex problems, at the same time to rejuvenate Indian economy, and how he opened up markets is very important. At the same time, we have seen in the year 1991 disintegration of our best friend, of our all-weather friend Soviet Union. In the year 1992, we started our Look East policy. Even in that, P.V. Narasimha Rao have played a crucial role. And India-Israel relations. For the first time in the year 1992, India started its relationship, diplomatic relationship with Israel. So all these things are the feathers in the cap of P.V. Narasimha Rao Garu, and we should give and salute due respect to him. Okay. And one more important news, next important news for today. Indian Air Force is procuring hammer missiles, HAMMER. Indian Air Force is procuring hammer missiles. See, we all know that India-China border tensions are escalating. So, in this respect, to further and boost its defense capabilities, India plan to procure Rafale missiles, Rafale aircrafts. India is planning to procure Rafale aircrafts, and the Rafale aircrafts are coming into India. And from the Rafale aircrafts, we wanted to launch a missile called Hammer. So we are procuring missiles called Hammer missiles. Hammer means highly agile, modular munition, extended range. So India is procuring missiles to launch from Rafale aircraft. The name of the missile is Hammer. So Hammer missiles also India is procuring from uh, France. Hammer missiles also India is procuring from France. Not only Rafale aircrafts but also Hammer missiles. Hammer missiles is very important. Just remember Hammer, HAMMER. And coming to today's Hindu paper, India-South Korea relations. India-South Korea relations. According to today's paper, the economic partnership between India and South Korea is $22 billion. $22 billion, which is far below the potential. $22 billion, which is far below the potential. And the other side, there was many cultural prejudices between India and South Korea. The integration of and people to people contact is not at all completely done. So we need to connect more and more integration culturally also. As you all know, India and South Korea both are ASEAN countries. They both belong to Asia. So they both belong to the same continent, Asia, and they both are developing countries. And recently, that is 10 years back, Indian Cultural Center was established in South Korea, Seoul. Indian Cultural Center was established at South Korea, Seoul. But even today, the full integration between India and South Korea, South Korean cultures and South Korean relations are not properly managed. And the other told in the article Hindu paper today, we need to respect, we need to promote mutual exchanges and cultural exchanges. And in India, in the present day youth, South Korean dramas, South Korean movies have become very famous. South Korean dramas, South Korean movies have become very, very famous. And few hours back, there's a news. That news was reported in Live Mint and other papers. RBI's Financial Stability Report. Reserve Bank of India, for every 6 months, will give Financial Stability Report. So for India, Financial Stability Report is given by RBI. Global Financial Stability Report is given by IMF. Okay, remember. Globally, Financial Stability Report is given by IMF. For India, Financial Stability Report is given by RBI. So RBI released this. Generally, RBI releases this for every 6 months. RBI warned that NPAs might increase in India. Non-performing assets might increase in India. What do you mean by a non-performing asset? NPA means if you take a loan from a bank, if you don't pay interest or principal for continuous 90 days, the account is considered as NPA. So, according to RBI Financial Stability Report released today, NPAs are going to increase. So they may increase from 8.5% in March 2022, 12.5% in March 2021. So in March 2020, the NPAs are 8.5%. Most of the businesses went into losses. Profits have come down. So RBI's financial into losses. And now with this, NPS might increase. NPS might increase, non-performing assets. It is indicating that. It is indicating that. Next important news. This news is coming up from last 1 month, but most of the newspapers in India are also missing this news. It might be a prelims question. It might be a prelims question. The topic is this news is announcement of a very important and landmark in the history of marine exploration. In the history of marine exploration, this news is very important, and we can say this news is a landmark. In fact, what is this about? This is about there is a project called Seabed 30. By 2030, scientists wanted to complete the mapping of entire seabed, entire ocean floor. By 2030, scientists wanted to map the entire sea floor, entire ocean floor. Actually, this Seabed 2030 was launched 3 years back in 2017. The scientists announced that already 1/5, that is 20% of mapping is over, and we are planning to cover entire mapping by 2030. We are planning to cover entire mapping by 2030. So, what is this technology called? There is a study called bathymetry. 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 You might get a prelims question. What is bathymetry? Bathymetry is a measurement of the shape and depth of the ocean floor. Bathymetry is a measurement of the shape and depth of the ocean floor. So generally, for Earth, for territory, we use the word topography. In the same way, for ocean floor, we'll use the word bathymetry. It is nothing but 3D mapping. It is nothing but 3D mapping. And who is doing this? Who is doing this? Nippon Foundation. Nippon Foundation along with JEPCO, GEBCO. So even JEPCO is very important. GEBCO. JEPCO means General Bathymetry Chart of the Oceans. What is JEPCO? GEBCO, General Bathymetry Chart of the Oceans. JEPCO is the only international organization to mark the oceans. Remember, JEPCO is the only international organization to mark the oceans, to map the oceans. Very important. And remember, why seafloor? Why seafloor mapping is very, very important? Because we'll understand ocean circulation, we'll understand tides, we'll understand tsunamis, why they occur, tsunami forecasting, we'll understand fishing resources, environmental changes, and underwater geohazards, mineral extractions, oil and gas exploration. So there are plenty of uses for exploring the ocean floor, for understanding the ocean floor. So remember what is bathymetry. And June 21st is the World Hydrography Day. June 24th is the June 21st is the World Hydrography Day. Just remember this. And next important news. Today, South Korea launched its first ever military satellite, ANASIS 2. South Korea launched its first ever military satellite, ANASIS, ANASIS, ANASIS 2. And this was launched by SpaceX. You know SpaceX, right? It's a private organization, SpaceX. Elon Musk is the chief of SpaceX. And it was launched by SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket. So South Korea, as you all know, South Korea and North Korea have so many disturbances and problems. And North Korea have a lot of weapons. Now South Korea launched its first ever military satellite, and it was launched by SpaceX. And SpaceX used a rocket called Falcon 9 rocket, and the launching happened from America, Florida. From Florida, the launching have taken place. Next important news. This is also from Science and Technology. Tianwen 1. TIANWN 1. Tianwen 1. Tianwen 1 is a China's first Mars mission. China's first Mars mission. Tianwen means heavenly questions. Heavenly questions. See, China launched its first Mars mission. This last 3 months is the era of Mars missions. Everybody is talking about Mars missions, exploring the red planet. America is going to launch its Mars mission, that is Perseverance rover. Already UAE launched Hope mission. Now China. Now China. So the Chinese spacecraft consists of an orbiter, rover, and a lander. Orbiter, rover, and a lander. The Mars mission of China, Tianwen 1, aims to study the thickness and sublayer distribution of Martian soil. Study the thickness and sublayer distribution of Martian soil. So all the world is looking at Mars, and all the world is rushing towards Mars. That is a great thing. At least we are trying to go for interplanetary explorations. Next important news. This statement is given by IMF, International Monetary Fund. This statement is given by IMF, International Monetary Fund. India needs further economic reforms to attract more investment. India needs further economic reforms to attract more investment. According to IMF, India have taken much risk and so many actions to promote investment, which was fruitful. India could get a lot of investment. In spite of this crisis, Facebook, Google, everyone wanted to invest in India. And furthermore, India has so much of potential. India should do land reforms, labor reforms to attract further investment. Already, India have come up with a lot of changes, lot of transformation, and India have made radical reforms like bringing insolvency, bankruptcy code, and GST. India have made so many reforms, and right now, according to World Bank last year report, India's ranking in the ease of doing business is 63. So, if India goes for further reforms, definitely, more and more investment will come to India. In the last 3-4 weeks, around $20 billion in investments were announced in India. $20 billion investments. And this year, by this year end, we can expect around $40 billion investments, extra investments also this year. So IMF is predicting that India get more and more. India is going to get more and more investments. So if India goes for further reforms, definitely India can attract still more investments. Now just listen. Uh, World countries are losing trust on China. They are losing trust in China. It's the right time for India to capture more investments, to gain strength economically. From every crisis, we need to create an opportunity. And it's a time for China to create an opportunity. Okay, this is a news from IMF. IMF spoke about this. And very good news for women, breaking the glass ceiling. So there are some professions, some jobs which hitherto were not were not allowed to the women. But for the first time, on the directions given by the Supreme Court, Ministry of Defense have given orders for permanent commission of women in the army. For permanent commission of women in the army. Till now, women are allowed in the short service commission. So now they can be selection board can select women in the permanent commission. But remember, not in all jobs. Not in all jobs even today. In combat, war field, they are not allowed, and in warships they are not allowed. So there are some restrictions even today in army with respect to women. Even after Supreme Court direction, even after today's order, it is not the women can do everything. Okay, in combat fields, women are not allowed. So, till now, do you know how much percentage of women are there in Indian Army? In Army, 3.89%. Only 3.89%. In Navy, 6.7%. In Air Force, 13.28%. So, why we are not allowing women in Army generally? Why we discourage? Because of their biological things, because of their physiological things, because of their child care, because of their motherhood, all these things, because of their physique, we generally. But in army, in defense, mental power, mental strength, and willpower is more important than physical power. Accuracy in decision making, apt and skill is very important rather than a physical strength, I think. So this is very important. So the defense ministry now gave orders for women to enter into permanent commissions, and they are allowed only in signals engineers, army aviation, electronics, mechanical engineers, but they are not allowed into combat war fields. They are not allowed in that. And next important article from last 3 4 days, one article is coming up in the newspapers. I wish to tell you about that. Delayed justice is nothing but denied justice. Justice delayed is nothing but justice denied. Okay, what is this all about? This is about fake encounter. This is about fake encounter. Okay, in Rajasthan, in Rajasthan, there was a Raja, erstwhile Raja called Raja Mansingh. Raja Mansingh. He was a king, titular head of Bharatpur in titular head of Bharatpur. And you all know after independence, we don't have princely states. Government of India have taken over everything. And he won in Rajasthan as an independent candidate many times. He won the elections as an independent candidate many times. As you all know, in India, it is very difficult to win as an independent candidate. And in February 1985, there was some political disturbance in Rajasthan. There was some political disturbance in Rajasthan. This Raja have created some ruckus, and there was a firing on him, and the Raja was killed along with his two supporters. The Raja was killed along with two supporters. After 35 years, 3 days back, judgment came. After 35 years, that was a false killing. It was a fake encounter. So 11 policemen should be convicted. The Sessions Court said 11 policemen should be convicted. Sessions Court convicted 11 policemen. But after 35 years, what is this? Justice delayed is nothing but justice denied. Justice delayed is nothing but justice denied. So, democracy. Just think about democracy in India. Okay. Next important thing I wish to tell you here. Rajasthan political crisis is burning in a cauldron. Even now, when we are discussing in the class, there was a political crisis near Raj Bhavan. The Ashok Gehlot and his followers are near the Raj Bhavan. They are near the Raj Bhavan. So, what is going on? Actually, what is going on? The Supreme Court yesterday refused to stop Rajasthan's High Court decision. Rajasthan High Court. What is the story about this? See, in Rajasthan, there is a Congress government. Ashok Gehlot is a CM and Sachin Pilot is a deputy CM. There are some differences between these two. And Sachin Pilot, along with 18 other Rajasthan MLAs, have run a different camp. He has so many demands. Then the question is, party issued a whip when the assembly is not in session. Party issued a whip when the assembly is not in session. Whether the party's whip is valid and whether it affects the anti-defection law, if the assembly is not in session, that is a legal question. If the assembly is not in session, if the party issues a whip, if the party MLA do not follow it, whether it attracts anti-defection law or not is a question. So High Court, the Sachin Pilot and other MLAs went to High Court. High Court asked the Speaker to stop his proceedings, and High Court wanted to give its announcement. But the Speaker went to Supreme Court saying that how come High Court can interfere with respect to anti-defection law before Speaker takes a decision? Before Speaker takes a decision, how can a High Court can interfere in that? That was a question. Supreme Court said, I am not going to issue any stay on High Court orders. I am not going to do anything on High Court orders. And let the High Court give its verdict. Let the High Court give its decision. This is the argument in the Supreme Court. This is the final decision that have come on the petition, on the particular petition and particular relief. This is not a complete final decision on the case, but on the particular issue. But here comes a question. Can the voice of dissent be shut down in a democracy? Can the voice of dissent be shut down in a democracy? Just because you belong to a particular party, that does not mean you should completely follow the lines of the political party, even without following your conscience. Just because you have taken a party ticket, you won on a particular political party's ideology, that does not mean that you should you should not have the right to dissent. You should have the right to dissent. See, what comes under anti-defection, what does not come under anti-defection should be decided clearly by a proper amendment to anti-defection law. So dissent should be a part of democracy. What is democracy? Democracy means deliberation, debate, and dissent. Democracy law, in democracy we should have everything. But if somebody shows dissent, if you say it means defection, does dissent means defection? Just think it over. Does dissent means defection or not? So the question has to be settled now. It's a larger constitutional debate. And anti-defection law is in the 10th schedule, added to the Constitution by 52nd Amendment. And 91st Amendment also deals with the 10th schedule. And let's see how this Rajasthan political crisis will bring a debate on anti-defection law. And most of the commissions and Dinesh Goswami's committee and Law Commission recommended that anti-defection law and party whips should be applicable only with respect to concurrence and no concurrence motion. In the rest of the times, the party member should be allowed to speak from their own conscience. Not that in each and every case, party member should always follow party's ideology and should not question if the same party, if his own party does something wrong. Then it is not a true democracy. Internal party democracy also is a part of democracy. In the internal political party, in the political party internal matters, every member should have a right to speak something. If he dislikes something, he should have the freedom of expression on it. Okay, this is a thing that was going on in Rajasthan. Let's hope that things go better in Rajasthan very soon and Rajasthan will have a stable government. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow at the same time. And after 10 o'clock today, you can find all the notes in our Telegram channel, Latha CS Academy. And the Telugu news, same thing, Telugu current affairs will start at 9:30 in our Telugu medium channel. Thank you.